Hello everyone. So today let's solve the problem number 97, interleaving string, right? So let's see what the question states here. So we are given the strings S1, S2 and S3 here. We have to find whether S3 is formed by interleaving of S1 and S2 or not, right? What is interleaving string here? See, an interleaving of two strings S and T is a configuration where S and T are divided into N and M substrings respectively. So when I hover over the substring is a contiguous non-empty sequence of characters. Contiguous meaning continual non-empty sequence of the characters within the string. A substring is this one, continual non-empty, this one, sequence of the characters within a string. Just remember this one, contiguous non-empty is very important respectively, such that s equals s1 plus s2 plus until to s, and the same thing goes with this one as well. T equals t1 plus t plus 2 tn and n minus m, so this one has to be positive, the value less than or equal to 1, and finally the interleaving is s1 plus t1. So this one, s1 plus t1, s2 plus t2 and S3 plus T3 up to T1 plus S1 plus T2 plus S2 plus T3 plus S3. This goes on, right? So they have given this one. What do we call? Clearly here. A plus B is the concatenation of the string A and B. A plus B is the concatenation of the string A and B. Right? Let's come to the example, man. They have given us wonderful examples here. Just for the sake of understanding, let's try to understand the first example here. Just give me a second here. See, here we have been given S1 double A B double C. S2 we have been given D double B C A. And S3 we have been given A D double B, this one C B C A C, right? So this is true. Why the output is true here? See, one way to obtain S3 here is split S1 into this one. S1 equals AA plus BC plus C. So this one we will we will be splitting S1 to we have double AB double C, right? So we will split this one to first AA, right? Then we will split this one to actually BC, right? AA, then first this two letters, then these two characters plus BC, and then finally we are left with only C. Actually, we'll consider that C. This is fine, and we can split S2 into this one. What do we call? First four letters, then the single letter. So we will be going with here D double B C first. So this one S2 equals. We can just consider here D double B C plus the next one is A, right? So interleaving the two splits, we have considered these two splits, right? Interleaving the two splits, we get here, we get AA. First, we get this one, AA plus this one. First one with the first one actually. So this one will be AA plus D double BC, right? AA plus D double BC plus this one, let me write this one down, plus this will be BC plus A, this part, BC plus A, right? So this one will be BC plus A, right? Finally, we are left with only C. Let's add this one as well. So this one will be C, right? So final, we can just write it in this way. AA, D, double BC, BC again, A, right? A, C. Right. So this one, see here, it is similar. So it is same as this one. What do we call string S3 here? AA D double B, AA D double B, CB CAC, CB here CAC. So this is how we can split actually. The only thing here tricky is splitting the string one and the string two. So we need to know how to stick this one, split the string one and stick this one string two. Yeah. So since S3 can be obtained by interleaving S1 and S2, so here this one S3 can be obtained by interleaving S1 and S2 here, right? So in that case, what we need to do, we have to return the Boolean value, right? So we have to return the Boolean value true here. So here this one, see the same thing, true. This is fine. So let me delete this one entirely. Yep. So here, yeah, let's move on with the second example. We have this one D this one string one AABCC and string two D double BCA and string three we have been given double A D triple B A triple C, right? So this is not possible, man. So we cannot interleave S1 and S2 to make S3 actually, right? So this is not possible. notice how it is impossible to interleave s2 with any other string to obtain s3, right? So in this case, we have to return the boolean value false. So whenever we have been given the this one empty strings, it is possible to, so it is possible to interleave s1 and s2 to get the s3. Quite obviously, this we can directly take. So this will be the base case actually. Yeah, in that case, we have to return true. Yep, I believe this is actually we have understood the this one, whatever they have given examples. Actually, they have given us wonderful examples here. Actually, they have really given the wonderful examples for the sake of understanding here, right? So this is fine, man. Yeah, let's do one thing. Before hopping into writing the code, let's discuss the approach and the complexities. Yeah, first thing I want to tell you here is we will be making use of the 2D DP or the dynamic programming to solve this particular problem. Yep. So the first case, let's move on with the first step here. So here, as I've said, we will be going with the dynamic programming, right? So let me do one thing. For this one, let's consider the same. This one first example for the approach, man. This itself. Let's consider the same first example for the approach, right? So just give me a second here. 1 second. This one. Yep. So as I've said, we'll be going with the DP or the 2D DP. Just remember. So first DP of let DP of ij mean using the first I characters of S1 and first j characters of S2, we can form first I plus j characters of S3. First I plus j characters of S3, right? So DP of ij, nothing but 2D DP we are making use of. Again, let me repeat this one. Listen to this carefully. Let DP of ij means this one here, we will be using first I characters of S1 and first j characters of S2 that can be formed um, first that can be formed or that can form first I plus j characters of S3. Let's move on with the second part here. So this one, second one. So we will be going with the base DP of 002. So this one initialization, we will be going with a DP of 00. Let's initialize this one to let me initialize this one to true. So this is fine. Uh, we are initializing or we are going with a base case DP of 002. So here first row DP of 0j depends only on the S2 matching the prefix S3. So this one we know. Yeah. First column DP of I0 depends only on the S1. See, S2 matching, so this DP of 0j depends only on the S2 matching the prefix of S3, and first column DP of I0 depends only on the S1. Just remember this. Yep. Now let's move on with the transition part, man. Let's see the transition part here. So this one, actually you'll get to know while writing the code. So let me tell this one. So this one will be DP of ij actually. DP of ij is equivalent to the DP of I minus 1j and S1 dot caret I minus 1. Yeah, that is equivalent to S3 dot caret at I plus j minus 1 or DP of I j minus 1. And we can just go with the S2 dot caret j minus 1, that is equivalent to the S3 dot caret I plus j minus 1. So this one, don't worry about this one, this step too much actually. So you'll get to know when we write this one within the code. Actually, this is just the transition actually I wanted to show. So this is fine, man. Yeah, while writing the code itself, I'll explain that one. Yep. So now, suppose for example, yeah, let's consider this example. We have considered the same example, right? So let's try to implement whatever we have discussed. The idea, the same thing. Let's implement this one by considering this example. Initially, the first step here, DP of 00 will be set true as per the discussion, right? So this is fine. Boolean value true. Yep. Now we'll build the first row using S2 versus S3 prefix. Example, suppose for example, let's consider here S2 of 0 equals D here, right? So it doesn't match actually S3 of 0, that is equivalent to A. That is equivalent to A here, character A, right? Or the string A. So DP of 01 is false, right? So here in that case, DP of 01 is false, right? So this is just one of the examples I wanted to show you here. So this is false actually. Don't consider this one, this itself. So this is just one of the examples I wanted to show you, right? So first what we will do, we will build first column using S1 versus S3. We will build first column using S1 versus S3 prefix, right? S1 of 0, see here, for this particular example, S1 of 0 is equivalent to the catch this one A, and it matches S3 of 0 equals A. S3 of 0, that is equivalent to the A, right? Look at the S1 string A here. This one, it matches the S3 A, right? So now DP of 1 0 becomes true. DP of 1 0 here, this becomes true actually. Yeah, DP of 1 0 becomes true. This is fine. Now S3 of one, S1 of 1 is A and S3 of 1 is also A. So this one again, the same thing here. S1 of this one actually, S1 of 1 is A and S3 of 1 is also A actually. Yeah, this is fine. So what happens here? We can just write it in this way. Let me write it over here. So this one is nothing but dp of this one. What do we call 2 0? Dp of 2 0. This one is also true actually. This one is true. Yeah. This is fine, I believe. This is fine, I believe. Dp of 2 0 is true. Yep. Now, let's fill all the interior cells using the transition. The transition, I have said that one in the words, so that was long actually to write. So I thought of explaining the same thing while writing the code itself, man. Yeah. So we will be filling the interior cells using the transition. Eventually, dp of s1 to length, this one, s1 dot length into s2 dot length becomes true, right? True, meaning we will compare this one with everything. So in this case, we will be getting the match actually by this one. S1 and S2 interleaves will make up to this one S3 actually. Yeah, so that is the reason we will be outputting true here, right? So we'll be outputting true in the sense we'll be going with a boolean value true. So the output that we got here is true, which is equivalent to the output that they have mentioned for the example one within the question. So our approach works absolutely correct here. As we are completely familiar with the approach, let's do one thing. Let's quickly discuss the complexities part. Yeah. So what will be the time complexity here? Just give me a second here. Yep. What will be the time complexity here? The time complexity would lead to big of n into m. So you would have already guessed this one. Quite obviously, it would be big of n into m. So why it is big of n into m here? So n is nothing but the string one dot length. So this one actually s1 dot length. I'll just write len here. Uh, Basically this one length of the string is one, and m is nothing but the string do dot length, right? So length of the s2. So this one basically, sorry, this one. Yeah. Now we fill an n plus 1 into m plus 1 table. So overall time complexity would lead to big of n into m here. So what will be the space complexity here? Space complexity would lead to big of n into m as well. So why it is n into m here, the space complexity? Because we'll be making use of the 2D Boolean DP table. Yeah, you can reduce to big of m with a 1D optimization. But the requirement here was strict 2D DP, right? So basically, I wanted to go with a, strict 2D DP requirement, right? So I said that I wanted to solve this particular problem with 2D DP itself, right? So this is fine. We can reduce this one to big of m with a 1D this one optimization, but I just wanted to go with a 2D DP. So the requirement here was, for me, it was solving this one with a 2D DP. So the overall space complexity would lead to big of n into m. So this is also fine. Accordingly, with the constraints, it doesn't matter. You can just make use of the this one 2D DP. Also, this one works, but if the constraints are tight, it is better to go with a 1D DP. You can just minimize this one to the big of m rather than the big of n into m. Just remember this. Yeah. So now the time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we'll be writing in the future would be big of n into m and big of n into m respectively. Now, as we are completely familiar with the approach and the complexities part, we are good to write the code. Let's start writing the code, right? So first thing here, if length, if lengths actually don't add up, it is impossible to interleave, right? So if length doesn't add up at all, then how can we this one interleave, right? So it's impossible to interleave. In that case, we have to return false. I'll just go with if s1 dot length less s2 dot length here. So this one actually, hmm, hmm, how can I write? If it is not equal to s3 dot length here, so then in that case, I have to return, sorry, I have to return false, right? So this is fine. The next step would be n is nothing but the length of s1 and m is nothing but the length of s2. So I'll be making use of length of the s1 and s2 quite often. So let me do one thing. Let's assign this one to some variable. right? So that we can make use of that variable, actually. I'll just go with a s1 dot length and also int m equals s2 dot length. Yeah, this is fine. Now, as I've said, we'll be making use of the DP table, right? Let's initialize the DP, 2D DP. One will be DP equals new boolean of n plus 1 into m plus 1. So this is fine. So the next thing what we'll be doing here, let's go with the base case. Let's go with the empty s1 and empty s2 from empty s3, the third example that they've given in the question. Yeah. So DP of 0, 0, I can just set this one to initially true. This is the base case. We had discussed this one earlier itself. You can just check the third example that they have given in the question. Now let's move on with the further thing. Nothing but filling the first column. So I said by using only S1 to match the S3 prefix. So we have to fill the first column here. So let's move on with that particular thing. So let's move on with the iteration part here. This will be int I equals 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus. So within the for loop, let's go with a dp of I0 will be true if dp of I minus 1 0 was true and the next character of S1 matches S3. Then only it is true. We know this, right? So this is basically this one. What is that? Transition thing actually. Yeah. Again, listen to this carefully. So at that point of time, I was lazy writing that one or showing that one. So listen to this. dp of I0 is true only if dp of I minus 1, the previous one, dp of I minus 1, 0 was true. And the next character of S1 matches the S3 strictly. Then only dp of I0 is true. So I can just write it in this way because we are filling the first column here, right? So this one will be dp of I0. This is equal to dp of I minus 1, 0. And this one will be S1 dot caret, S1 dot caret. So this one will be I minus 1, I minus 1 equivalent to S3 dot caret. So this is fine. So this one will be I minus 1 again. Yeah. So let me come out of this one entirely. Now what we'll be doing, let's fill the first row. We are successful in filling the first column. Now let's fill the first row, right? So for the first row, let's do this similar thing here. So let me copy the same thing and make the necessary changes quickly. So this one, I'll just change this one to j. So this one will be j equals 1, j less than or equal to m actually, not the I. J, and let me increment j here, not I. So this one will be dp of, instead of I0, so this one will be 0 j again. So this is the transition, right? So this one will be dp of 0. We're going with the row, right? So this one will be dp of 0 j minus 1, and instead of s1, so this one will be s2 dot caret, so this one will be, instead of I, this will be j minus 1, right? So this is equivalent to S3 dot caret. This is fine. So this one will be, instead of I minus 1, it will be j minus 1. Yeah. So this is fine, I believe. So next, let me come out of this one entirely. Now let's fill the rest of the table, man. Again. So iterations everywhere. So this one will be int I equals 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. So within the for loop, again, for int j equals 1, j less than or equal to m, j plus plus. So within the for loop, so let's go with the two possibilities. We have the two possibilities accordingly with the approach that we discussed. One is last character of the current prefix comes from S1, or the last character comes from the S2. These two things. First, let's go with the last character of the current prefix that comes from the S1. So I'll just write it here. Let me give boolean. I'll just give from S1 actually, because this is the last character of the current prefix that is coming from the S1 actually. So from S1, I'll just write here dp of I minus 1 j, and this one S1 dot caret. So this is fine. So this one will be I minus 1, I minus 1, that is equivalent to S3 dot char at the transition part. So this one will be I plus j minus 1, I plus j minus 1. Yep. So this is one thing. Now, what if the last character comes from S2? So I will just copy the same thing, the same line here. Let me paste this one over here and make the necessary changes. Instead of S1, let me give S2 here. So this one will be dp of I here. So this is fine. dp of I. So this one will be j minus 1. And this one will be S2 dot caret. So this one will be S2 dot caret. Instead, this one will be j minus 1, j minus 1, that is equivalent to S3 dot caret I plus j minus 1, I plus j minus 1. So this is fine, man. Yeah. So let me do one thing. Yeah. The next step would be dp of ij is true if either of the way works, right? Either this one, last character of the current prefix comes from the S1 or the last character comes from the S2. So either of the way works here, right? So I can just set this one dp of ij equals to, let me copy this one instead of typing, from S1 or from S2 variable, this one from S2, right? So this is fine. Yep. Now we are left with only one step, nothing but we have to return the final answer. Meaning, uh, if it can full S1, if it can full S1 and if it can full S2, form the full this one S3, that we have to check, right? So this will be present at the last this one last cell, nothing but dp of n and m, right? So we just have to return dp of n and m respectively here. So let me format the code and let me hit the submit button directly. I hope this works. I'm going with the belief that this works. Let's see. I've hit the direct. Oh, we have the error, man. So this one, what's the error actually? Incompatible types, boolean cannot be converted to the int. Where? Let me run this one, man. Beautifully visible here actually. Boolean cannot be converted to the int. Line number 9 actually. Initialization of the DP, right? So this one we have to return the this one in the boolean value actually. This is fine. I have considered int dp where line number 9 int n and m I have considered. So this one has to be boolean, man. Did I give int here? Yeah, this is one thing. Let me run this one again. So yeah, now the sample test cases are getting fast. So let me hit the submit button quickly. I hope this works for all the test cases. Let's see. So yeah, answer this one. We need this one in the boolean value itself, right? Either true or false. We can't go with the int here, right? So this is fine. Now, yeah, all the test cases are getting passed here, so you can clearly see, right? So whatever the code that we have written works absolutely correct for all the test cases. I hope the solution part is completely clear along with the approach and the complexities. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.